Hi there, I'm the Nature Guy and I'm here at Camp Asable, and today I would like to talk to you about an interesting group of birds called the ptarmigan. The ptarmigan is a grouse-like bird, but they like to live in the tundra, either way up north or way up high in alpine tundra in the mountains. Now this is a white-tailed ptarmigan, and you can see there's some white in the tail. That kind of makes sense, but here's what's interesting. These birds change color. This is the summer plumage or breeding plumage of a ptarmigan, but in the winter they change to an almost pure white bird. And this is actually a rock ptarmigan. There are 3 species of them, but they all turn white in the winter, and that of course gives them protection from their enemies because they spend the whole time up there in the Arctic, and a lot of that time is in snow cover, and so being pure white is interesting. Now the name ptarmigan comes from the feet. You see the feet are very feathered and pretty big for a bird, but that helps them of course walk across the snow. And so ptarmigan comes from a word that means a hare or big foot, like a snowshoe hare, which also have very large hairy feet, but that allows them to, the hares, excuse me, to get across the snow really fast and evade their predators, like maybe a lynx or something. So ptarmigan's an interesting name. It describes the bird well. And there are 3 species of them. We'll go inside in a little bit and look at all 3 species together. But there's something very interesting about being a white bird. Most white birds, like say a white pelican or a whooping crane or a snow goose, they're white, but they have black flight feathers. The primary feathers are black because it turns out that white feathers are not very strong. Dark feathers and black feathers are stronger. The melanin that makes the dark color, that pigment, also seems to give it strength. So many of the white birds out there have dark wings, but as you see with the ptarmigan, the feathers of the wings in the winter, and this is true for all 3 species, they all have white wings. And that kind of makes sense, I guess, because they're not really strong flyers. They would rather hide from their enemies, and they do a good job of that, than fly away from their enemies. And so having really strong flight feathers is not so important like it might be for a snow goose or a pelican or something like that. And it's an interesting thing. Almost all birds have dark wings, and it's probably for that reason. It gives strength to the wing feathers. So let's go inside and see the other species. So we're inside in the Nature Center here at a display about camouflaged animals that are all white for the purpose of hiding in the snow. And there's our 3 ptarmigan species. This one is the white-tailed ptarmigan. As you see, it does have a white tail also in the winter as well as summer. And then the other 2 have black tails, and they're very, very similar. You have to look at their eye to see the difference. This one's just a plain eye and a pretty thick bill. That's the willow ptarmigan. And then the rock ptarmigan is down lower here, and it also has a black tail, but its face is a little different. It's got a little bit of reddish around the eyes. So they're subtly different if you look close, but they're all white. And those feet, that's the feet of the ptarmigan, is what gives it its name. Feathered and warm, and also helps them walk through the snow. So I think there's 2 lessons that we can learn from the ptarmigan. One is that they are certainly adapted to the environment they live in, and God has promised that He will provide for us what we need in our lifetime here on earth. But He's providing so much more when we get to heaven. The other lesson is the birds are named after their characteristics, like the foot that looks like a hare. And this reminds us that, as Christians, we need to live up to our name as well. So let's work towards that. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.